Verstappen is in serious trouble as the FIA continues investigating. Leclerc gives his opinion on his collision with Max, and Oscar dominates Lando. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Max Verstappen has found himself in hot water yet again, following a collision with George Russell at the Spanish Grand Prix. The FIA has issued him 3 additional penalty points, adding to an already taxing race experience where he received a 10-second time penalty for the incident. In the closing stages of the race, tensions ran high as Verstappen, instructed by his Red Bull team, was told to let Russell pass, particularly after a safety car appearance that bunched up the field. This instruction came just as Verstappen was fighting to retain his position on the track. When the race resumed, Verstappen faced a tough challenge. He was on hard tires, while many others around him were on softer tires, making their cars quicker off the restart. As Charles Leclerc passed effectively to take 3rd place, Russell aimed to capitalize on the situation as well. Verstappen, shortly after retreating to runoff area, returned to the track still ahead of Russell, holding on to his 4th position. The plot thickened when Verstappen, after seemingly obeying his team's orders, came into direct conflict with Russell at turn 5. As Russell attempted to advance to P4, the 2 drivers made contact, which left Verstappen eventually having to cede the position at turn 12. It was a disappointing turn of events for Verstappen and his team. Initially, the stewards noted that Verstappen would not have faced a penalty for leaving the track had it not been for Red Bull's instruction to give way to Russell. After this incident, the FIA stewards determined that Verstappen's actions did indeed cause a collision, leading to that crucial 10-second time penalty. In the aftermath, the decision to hand Verstappen 3 additional penalty points was made, pushing his total to 11 points over the past 12 months. This is significant because 1 more penalty point could put him at risk for a 1-race ban, creating a precarious situation for the reigning champion as the season progresses. As we analyze the implications of this incident, it's clear that Verstappen's road ahead is lined with challenges. His current standing raises concerns about discipline and consistency on the track. The stakes are especially high in a competitive sport like Formula One, where a single point could dictate the outcome of a season. So, with the Spanish Grand Prix behind us, fans and analysts alike are left wondering, can Verstappen regain his composure and stay out of hot water moving forward? Only time will tell as we race ahead to the next grand event on the F1 calendar. Stay tuned as we keep dissecting the evolving narratives in this thrilling sport. As the drama unfolds in Formula One, the recent controversies have surely captivated fans worldwide. Let's dive into the captivating headlines regarding team dynamics and on-track incidents that have left everyone buzzing. Recently, the stewards reviewed a controversial incident involving 2 drivers, Car 1 and Car 63. Their decision highlighted the intricate web of communication between teams and drivers. It was revealed that Car 1's driver was asked by their team to concede their position back to Car 63 due to what the stewards deemed an earlier breach. Although the stewards ultimately decided on no further action regarding that incident, the gripping aftermath was anything but resolved. The atmosphere became tense as Car 1's driver, unhappy with the team's request, seemingly allowed Car 63 to overtake at turn 5. Just when it appeared the 2 would race cleanly, Car 1 unexpectedly accelerated, leading to a collision. The stewards concluded that Car 1 was primarily responsible and imposed a 10-second time penalty. This incident has raised eyebrows, sparking discussions about the pressure drivers face when executing team orders. Amidst this backdrop, George Russell has not held back his thoughts. He slammed Verstappen's actions during a previous race in Spain, describing the collision as very deliberate and uncharacteristic of Formula One, suggesting it was more suited for Formula E. The tension between Russell and Verstappen continues to simmer, a rivalry that only adds more fuel to this already heated season. Charles Leclerc has chimed in, defending his own actions after a controversial move on Verstappen in Barcelona. Indeed, his perspective adds another layer to the ongoing narrative involving these leading drivers. Meanwhile, Nico Rosberg has suggested that an immediate disqualification for Verstappen following the Spanish GP could be the only appropriate consequence for such aggressive driving. As we look ahead, questions swirl about the upcoming races and how these conflicts might shape the future of drivers' standings. With tension brewing and rivalries intensifying, the world of Formula One never ceases to surprise, ensuring fans remain on the edge of their seats. Stay tuned for more insights, statistics, and updates on the thrilling races that lie ahead in the world of F1. George Russell has publicly expressed his dissatisfaction with Max Verstappen following a controversial incident during the Spanish Grand Prix. After a hard-fought race that featured an unexpected turn of events, Russell labeled Verstappen's crash as disappointing and very deliberate. The drama unfolded towards the end of the race, just after a safety car restart. As the field jostled for position, Verstappen and Russell found themselves in a precarious situation. Verstappen, having utilized an unconventional three-stop strategy, collided with Russell in a move that left viewers and fellow drivers alike stunned. Many felt that Verstappen drove straight into Russell's Mercedes, signaling a change from competitive racing to aggressive play. Russell, who finished fourth, was notably caught off guard by the contact. In his post-race comments, he remarked, "I don't know what he was thinking. It was probably as surprising for you guys as it was for me." From his perspective, the clash seemed intentional, stating, "It felt very deliberate, to be honest." He couldn't fathom why Verstappen would resort to such a maneuver and highlighted a contrast between this incident and what one might typically see in virtual racing, saying, "It's something that I've seen numerous times in sim racing. Never have I seen it in a Formula One race." This reaction from Russell reflects a broader sentiment in the racing community. Former F1 champion Nico Rosberg weighed in, calling for stricter consequences and suggesting disqualification for Verstappen. Russell lamented that such actions could tarnish Verstappen's reputation as one of the best drivers, especially in the eyes of aspiring young racers. In the end, Verstappen was handed a 10-second time penalty for his aggressive driving, which ultimately dropped him from contention, finishing in 10th place. Despite the frustrations stemming from the incident, Russell maintained a sense of perspective, concluding, "I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I ultimately benefited from those antics." The fallout from this incident raises questions about sportsmanship and the standards set by drivers at the pinnacle of motorsport. As fans await what this means for future races, Russell's comments have surely sparked a conversation about the acceptable limits of behavior on the track, especially in a sport as competitive as Formula One. In the recent chaos of the Spanish Grand Prix, George Russell found himself reflecting on incidents that unfolded on the track. Addressing the controversial opinions of former driver Nico Rosberg, Russell expressed the gravity of their sport, saying, "We're putting our lives on the line." He emphasized that while modern cars are incredibly safe, it's essential not to take that safety for granted. The debate around the nature of these collisions is intense. Russell remarked, "As I said, it's down to the stewards to determine if it's deliberate or not." Tensions escalated earlier in the season between him and Max Verstappen, culminating in a heated exchange after a qualifying incident where Verstappen accused Russell of impeding him, only for Verstappen to receive a penalty himself. Verstappen didn't hold back in expressing his frustration, claiming he had lost respect for Russell following their run-ins. Russell, on the other hand, accused Verstappen of bullying, hinting at the emotional undercurrents that sparked these verbal battles. When asked if their heated rivalry played into the incident at the Grand Prix, Russell admitted, "I really don't know what was going through his mind." Despite the clash, Russell suggested that the incident ultimately hurt Verstappen more than anyone else, stating he missed a chance to fight for a podium finish. "He could have come back for fighting for the podium," Russell explained, indicating the missed opportunity as a result of the collision. Yet, amidst the tension, Russell remained composed, saying, "I'm not going to lose sleep over it." Reflecting further on the nature of racing, he mentioned having never seen such an incident in Formula One before, implying that perhaps this was an anomaly, a notable moment in the often hectic world of racing. Verstappen's response? A touch of humor amidst the intensity, declaring he'd bring the tissues for their future encounters. adding a lighthearted twist to the rivalry that highlights the passion and intensity of Formula One. With the stewards taking additional action following the incident, this chaotic chapter leaves fans gripping their seats in anticipation of what's next as the implications of this rivalry unfold on the track. Stay tuned as the drama continues. The Spanish Grand Prix brought a thrilling spectacle, showcasing Oscar Piastri's stunning victory as he led McLaren to a 1-2 finish alongside his teammate Lando Norris. While the McLaren duo celebrated their podium success, the race was also marked by intense late-race conflict between Max Verstappen and George Russell that captured everyone's attention. Piastri began the race from pole position, making an impressive start that kept him in front. As the race unfolded, he brilliantly covered off Norris and managed to fend off a challenge from Verstappen, solidifying his lead. By lap 9, Piastri had established a comfortable 3-second gap, setting the fastest laps and leaving Norris to secure second place after overtaking Verstappen into turn 1 on lap 13. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc of Ferrari managed to climb onto the podium as he capitalized on a late safety car, ultimately joining the McLaren duo. The race didn't come without drama. George Russell, who started in 4th, encountered difficulties early on, dropping positions and losing ground to Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc. His frustrations boiled over as he expressed his annoyance over the unpredictable behavior of other drivers. "These are moving under braking today. What's going on?" he was heard saying. However, team principal Toto Wolff reminded him to focus on the race. As the laps went by, the strategies on the grid played a significant role. Several drivers opted for early pit stops, including notable names like Nico Hülkenberg and Carlos Sainz. Piastri and Norris opted for a more traditional 2-stop strategy, while Verstappen appeared to be on a riskier 3-stop plan. Despite battling traffic after his pit stop, Verstappen's strategy didn't play out as expected, leaving him in a tense fight back through the pack. As tempers flared on the track, tensions rose between Verstappen and Russell. Their fierce battle turned into a heated exchange, highlighting the intensity of the competition. In the world of Formula One, such rivalries often escalate and become the focal point beyond the results. In the end, Piastri's victory extended his championship lead, while Lando Norris cemented McLaren's position as a formidable force this season. The race results sent shockwaves through the F1 standings, showcasing the unpredictability and excitement that fans love. Piastri and Norris's success will undoubtedly energize the McLaren team as they push forward, leaving them strategically positioned in the championship race. Fans are eager to see how this narrative develops, especially with the rivalry heating up between the seasoned drivers like Verstappen and rising stars like Piastri. This race has certainly added another thrilling chapter to the 2025 F1 season, reminding us all why we love this sport. As teams prepare for upcoming races, the pressure is only going to mount, and we can't wait to see how these dynamics unfold. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this exhilarating season and bring you the latest updates from the world of motorsport. Verstappen had a challenging race, facing mechanical issues. After pitting on lap 30, he shared his frustration, saying, "F***ing hell, it's so hard to drive." Despite these setbacks, he re-emerged in 4th place behind his competitors Hamilton, Piastri, and Norris. There was tension in the air as Norris and the McLaren team were informed about Verstappen's strategy of a 3-stop race. As the laps progressed, Lawson made aggressive moves, indicating the fierce competition on the track. Meanwhile, Verstappen faced more obstacles, battling not only competitors but also his own car's performance. He lamented having no clutch while upshifting, while Hamilton expressed concerns to Ferrari, claiming, "The rear is nowhere." Tensions rose with messages flying back and forth between teams. With 26 laps remaining, the race began to heat up. Leclerc made his final pit stop first, followed closely by Russell, both racing for a vital 4th place as Verstappen pitted shortly after, emerging in P3. As the laps dwindled, Verstappen's struggles continued. He described his RB21 as completely broken. Racing was intense as Lawson and Behrman battled fiercely, but Verstappen and Norris weren't far behind. The race took a turn when Antonelli's incident caused a safety car situation. This led to critical pit stops, with Verstappen switching to hard tires, raising eyebrows among spectators. When the race resumed, chaos ensued as positions shifted dramatically. Verstappen found himself in a tussle with Russell, which resulted in contact and a subsequent 10-second penalty that ultimately saw him finish in 10th place. Despite the challenges, the McLaren duo of Piastri and Norris clinched a well-deserved 1-2 victory, with Leclerc and Russell trailing behind. It was a race to remember, showcasing the twists and turns of Formula One. Charles Leclerc has made headlines recently for an incident involving Max Verstappen during the Spanish Grand Prix. Following a late race clash, Leclerc firmly defended his actions, insisting he was not at fault. In a critical moment during the race, Leclerc explained that it was Verstappen who attempted to squeeze him as they battled for position. This confrontation occurred right after a safety car restart when both drivers found themselves in a tight race. Initially, Leclerc was in 4th place, comfortably distant from the top trio. However, a safety car dramatically changed the dynamics, allowing Leclerc and his rival Verstappen to pit for fresh tires. Red Bull opted for hard tires for Verstappen, while Leclerc took on softer tires that had only seen a single qualifying lap. This tire advantage proved pivotal as the race resumed. As the restart began, Verstappen had a significant hiccup at turn 14. He managed to keep his car steady on track, but this misstep opened an opportunity for Leclerc, who quickly positioned himself alongside the Dutch driver. The two then made contact, with Verstappen accusing Leclerc of ramming into him. However, Leclerc countered by suggesting that Verstappen was the one who moved across his path. Reflecting on the incident, Leclerc remarked, "I probably would have been very vocal if it was the other way around." He understood the intensity of their battle for 3rd place and acknowledged that Verstappen was pushing hard to regain his position. Leclerc also noted the challenges Verstappen faced with his tires and explained, "I overtook on the inside. He tried to squeeze me on the dirty side of the track. Then I had the upper hand because I had more speed." Even after the contact, Leclerc felt there was nothing catastrophic, stating, "We touched a little bit, but there was nothing." Despite the drama on track, the stewards investigated the incident to assess the situation from both sides. However, in a relief for Leclerc, he was ultimately cleared of any wrongdoing, with neither driver found to be wholly at fault for the clash. This incident sheds light on the fierce rivalries in Formula One and how split-second decisions can lead to significant consequences on the track. With Leclerc's strong defense and the stewards' ruling, it's evident that competition remains fierce as drivers fight for every position. Stay tuned as we continue to follow the unfolding drama in the world of Formula One. As the tension mounted in Barcelona, Charles Leclerc sensed a key opportunity after learning that Max Verstappen had opted for hard tires. He commented, "From the moment when I knew that Max was on a hard tire, I was like, okay, that's not a great tire to be on for the last 5 laps. With determination, Leclerc knew it was time for a full attack, seizing the moment to secure a podium finish. His strategy paid off with Leclerc skillfully navigating the final corner, watching as Verstappen lost control. I was basically side by side, and I was very happy to take the 3rd place," he exclaimed. This marked Leclerc's 2nd consecutive podium finish, an achievement he hadn't seen since the 2024 season. The excitement didn't end there. George Russell made headlines, slamming Verstappen's crash during the race as both very deliberate and more suited for Formula E. His strong remarks reflect the growing frustrations between drivers, particularly in the wake of the controversial incident. After the race, the FIA wasn't silent either. They imposed further penalties on Verstappen, highlighting that the conflict on the track had serious repercussions. Adding to the drama, Nico Rosberg weighed in on the situation, suggesting that disqualification for Verstappen might be the only appropriate response. F1 fans are kept on edge as the rivalry between these drivers intensifies, promising more thrilling moments in the upcoming races. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the exhilarating world of Formula One in our next updates.